Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Like tonight's film, 1978's Unknown and Rare, Teammates. This is a movie called Teammates on VHS here by VEC. You can see that here. This is the side. Okay, whoops, there we go. We got like a bottom portion here. I found this on eBay about 2 years ago for really, really cheap and never heard of it before. And then decided to pick it up and check it out. And wow, this is what a find this was. What an unknown rare film this is. Teammates from 1978. This is the back here. And on the back it says, she's the only girl on the team, making the squad was tough. This is an 84-minute film, and it actually has the restricted cat right there. See if I can focus in on that. But if you've seen Tarantino and Rodriguez's Grindhouse film where they have kind of the restricted Black Panther, or you've seen it on some trailer reels of trailer compilations, but there it is. So I guess that's the way that they say that it's R-rated, right? And you can see the faded cover right there. It's pretty awesome. And this particular one was actually gotten from Fox Video, Foxx Video. That was the video store. I don't know where it is. The funny thing is they call it a drama film, and they rate it PG-13, actually, on the sticker. And the retail price was $0. Just a little bit of factoids on this particular VHS version. Let's get into Teammates from 1978. You know, Teammates is something really, really special because it's such a huge, just chunk of 1978, and 1978 on the East. Well, it's not the West Coast because it has a totally different vibe, and I'll get into it a little bit later on just kind of the weather and the atmosphere. But it details a group of teenagers in school during the school year. It's not summer break, it's during the school year, and it details kind of the camaraderie between them, the romantic relationships between them, their fun, their adventures, their parties, and then also a pinnacle moment that happens kind of in the film, but as the core in many regards, involving the football team and involving something extra unique and way ahead of its time doing this video in 2017 for what happens in the storyline involving gender issues. So let's get into Teammates 1978, and first and foremost we are going to look at the music for this film. Let me look at it again here. This is so rare. This is awesome. The music for this film, we start off the film with just some great 70s pop rock. It almost sounds like the Carpenters band rock type of mix and vibe. We also have a ton of score that is weird 70s synth driven. It almost reminds me a bit of when the guys are on their motorcycles going to the gas station and Gas Pump Girls, which I looked at on this YouTube page, like that kind of sound. Lots of groovy funky vibes, saxophones, jazzy, kind of jazz, disco groove funk seems to be the core, and we're kind of branching off, and we got a couple little jazzy elements in there as well, some synth elements in there, electronic elements, and then we also have some classic rock vibes in here as well, with some guitar driven classic rock. Let's just say all the music, all the score in this movie is pure dripping of 1970s, okay? 1978. Now, I did some notes here because I really needed to, and the opening title sequence for this film is so freaking genius. It's so genius. It's so amazing that these low-budget, unknown, rare films tend to have just some of the best title sequences ever. And this title sequence involves pizza and pizza slices and vinyl records and hubcaps. So freaking cool. It's just so great. I have a couple things that I just wrote down here, and I'm just gonna kind of go through them because there were so many great elements to this film. I mean, this is an example of a movie that is true teen exploitation type of vibe. True teen exploitation, where the plot is just almost documentary style. What these teenagers do on a day-to-day basis and the things that move and change their lives. That's it. And we have some pretty, kind of pivotal things that happen in here as well. But the plot is where they go, who they're with, and what happens. That's it. And you think of like a modern film like Dazed and Confused. Well, Dazed and Confused, everybody loves that movie because it's a Hollywood film and their favorite actors are in it and everything else. But Dazed and Confused is really riffing on all of these types of films like Teammates and such, where they were quote unquote plotless to the mainstream public. Okay? We have a car chase in this movie, and we can see from the car chase at the beginning of this film that right off the bat that we're dealing with some gender type issues, even in the car chase. We got football in this movie. Football definitely being a pivotal point in the storyline. We got a basement birthday party for a 17-year-old, and we go also to a classroom, and in the classroom we have just antics with the teacher and the classroom. We have bananas being used by one of the girls she's practicing something, she says, so she's always eating bananas, but be careful because it could cause weight gain, one of her friends says. An interesting line in the film is that if you kiss with your eyes open, it could cause blindness. That's why you kiss with your eyes closed. We also go to a video game arcade with pinball machines. We visit this place a couple times. So legit, so cool. We go to this restaurant called Papa Tony's Restaurant. I'm gonna have to look some of these places up because the actual, signs for these establishments are there. Papa Tony's Restaurant. We also have the element of kind of between men and women also that that guys cheat, and girls, you got to be careful, don't ever say I love you to a girl. It'll be the end of everything, But guys cheat, and we got kind of a cheating vibe from the guys in some of the storyline in here as well, and some of the some of the ramifications of that. One guy says that he keeps a used condom in his pocket, just for, I think he said something like, just for keepsake, for memories. There's a great line of dialogue in the film I think it's at the pizza place, Papa Tony's restaurant, where this girl says to the guy, because he's kind of dirty with the way he's cleaning up the tables or the counter, and she says, you're involved in homemade hepatitis. Homemade hepatitis. That'd be a great name for a band. We have peeing in a trash can in order to set a fire out. And there's the girl at Tony's restaurant, by the way, behind the counter, who says, she wants to kind of do something else with her life. Definitely a conversation that you might have had before if you worked at a food place or anywhere, where you have these conversations and you say, I can't wait to do something else with my life or such, especially when you're a teenager. She's just awesome. I love her idiosyncrasies. I love her dialogue. I love the way she talks. I love the way she looks. The girl behind the counter, I don't know her name. And there's that theme also in here of what to do with the rest of your life. We have, this is a film really dominated by brunettes, by the way. And we have hot brunettes in this movie. Even the girl on the cover of the VHS. This is a movie dominated by brunettes. And the funniest thing is that the one blonde girl in the film is actually the most virginal. She's the most inexperienced, which is not typically what you see at all, as we know. But great looking brunettes in this movie. We also go to an ice cream place in a freaking mall, the great little mall shot, called Four Queens Ice Cream, where this, probably the most unique ice cream fight I've ever seen, between three guys. We almost have these guys, they're called the Cougars, you always kind of have that opposing football team or something, but these guys look like greasers. And it really seems like it's the fall season in this movie, because you can see people's breath, it just seems cold, and the trees most of the time are without leaves, and there's this one great section where kind of the main girl's with this other guy, not her ex-boyfriend at the time, and they're running through kind of the woods or these grass hills, and you can see the way the sunlight is hitting the ground that it's fall. For those of us who know the fall season, the sun looks different, the sky looks different, everything looks different, the lighting is different outside, and it just felt like 70s fall. Pizza is all in this film. Pizza is definitely a component, not of the title credits, but also in the film. We go to a drive-in. We go to a freaking drive-in where they're watching a horror movie. I don't know which one it is, but they're referencing Frankenstein in the dialogue. You don't see it, though. You have an implied blowjob there, but you also have kind of sleeping all through the night and being the last car at the drive-in. That's happened to me before in the past, and it happens to them. It's just the morning light at the drive-in. We got this car shop called Baron Body Works with a guy who works there who I believe is in Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses, as well as many other titles. We even go to a junkyard, and there is vengeance in the film, and there is this amazing hitchhiking episode in this film that involves a motorcycle, an old pervert, an old deaf man, and then finally a cool police officer who actually watches the football game. Yes, an awesome hitchhike section in the film. Gender is definitely a theme in this movie. At 1978, I mean, obviously the women's lib movement here, but this is something that applies to today in 2017. It's so ahead of its time, where we're really bringing question to, can a girl be a person and not just be labeled by her gender or her sex? And this is something that is a kind of a running theme all throughout the film, from a car chase and definitely the game of football. Now, the interesting thing is there's no nudity in this film. I think there's a little bit of a guy's butt. I don't even think there was one curse word. I think there was the word bastard, which there's not one curse word in the film. And it looks like it was rated R, but the video store rated it PG-13. This is such a unique movie because the video store called it a drama film. I mean, what is it? Well, it's definitely kind of an exploitation, teen-sploitation, school movie, coming of age, but with other things going on. It's just a fun kind of teen movie. But these types of movies would typically have a ton or some nudity, but this one doesn't. Now, we do have some violent kind of fist fighting scenes. I mean, you're not getting blood and things like that, but it's just kind of violent in its aggressiveness between guys and things like that. We do have some humor in here, but the sexuality of the film is really implied, and it's very implied. It's almost like it was like at times like purposely implied so that it could be more widely seen, maybe on television or whatever. I'd be so curious to see where this movie played. But it's like they're not mentioning things directly. The sexual stuff is indirect. The girls look great. The acting is awesome. The characters are great. There are interesting things going on that will sucker punch you. This is 1978's very rare and unknown Teammates. It's my pleasure to talk about this film and bring it known to the public here. This is Teammates right here, folks. Love this movie. And it stars Karen Corrado, Max Goff, and Christopher Sepp. Thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more, like 1978's Teammates. Thank you so much, and please feel free to check out my own personal films at youtube.com/poopydiarrhea. Thank you, and good night.